Good afternoon to everyone present over here and to all who have joined us virtually from across the CMC campuses. Let us begin by anchoring ourselves in gratitude to the one who provides. James chapter 1 verse 17 says, "Every good and perfect gift is from above." Indeed, every meal is a gift from God. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. We extend a warm welcome to the day 3 of our hybrid educational series organized by the Food and Beverages section, GS office, in commemoration of World Food Safety Day 2025.
This year's global theme is Food Safety, Science and Action. Here at CMC, we aim not just to change policies, but to transform personal choices. Our bold and heartfelt motto is say no to junk food, yes to healthy choices. Because food is not just about calories, it's about healing, culture, and a daily decision that shapes our lifelong health and well being. Let's begin the final day with our first distinguished speaker, Mrs. B. Manimegalai, in charge of Dietetics Department, CMC Vellore. With 22 years of expertise in clinical nutrition and dietetics, she holds esteemed positions in national nutrition forums and boards, serves as a resource faculty, conducts regional workshops, and actively engages in pediatric nutrition and community outreach. Today, she will help us rediscover the power of a simple plate through her talk, My Plate Hidden Treasure of Nutrition. Ma'am, we welcome you warmly. Over to you.
Very good afternoon, everyone, online and offline. I take this opportunity to thank Reni sir, the GS, Dinesh sir, the deputy GS, looking after FNB department and the GS office, and hearty thank you for FNB team for organizing this wonderful, platform for people to understand and realize the role of nutrition on good health. So. These are the key points which I would like to touch upon today. ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research, and NIN, National Institute of Nutrition, have published a book on what India eats. So we have lots of information on what we eat, and I would like to present to you all today. And not only, we pay lots of attention to non-communicable diseases and its prevention, whereas we need to look at even hidden hunger. That is nothing but the micronutrient deficiency is also equivalent, to put burden on health. Then finally, my plate, my nutrition. These are the key points today. So when I was preparing this, I have come across this picture. Nutrition, is it a passion or a confusion? I would say it is both. When a person wants to really, take care of body, read more about nutrition, that becomes a passion. Whereas when we read a lot, that becomes a confusion. Why? We have lots of reason for that. Conflicting information which is being, given by the online platforms, that becomes, contradictory, with the different experts offering varying recommendations. One will say you eat 5 grams of salt, other will say you eat 2 grams of salt, and that leads to lots of confusion to the public. Then media. The media can amplify certain nutrition trends, leading to misinformation and confusion. It goes viral. When somebody talks about something, it goes viral. When a person dies after a workout, it goes viral. But the facts behind that, it is not explained properly by the experts will talk about that, and non-experts also will talk about that. Finally the public will get confused. Lack of scientific consensus. Some areas of nutrition are still under research, so we don't have conclusions for some recommendations. Then complexity of the science, because science is evolving every day. There are something coming, some development, some research coming to the science area. So average person to fully grasp the science is very, very difficult. focus and also focus on, see, to understand nutrition, to enjoy the nutrition, very simple. Enjoy whole plant-based food or enjoy whole foods rather than going for processed and ultra processed food. So nutrition becomes a passion when we just focus only on whole foods and just by preventing processed and ultra processed food. So as per the recent report, what ICMR and NIN releases, according to this recommendation, not more than 45% energy should be contributed by cereal. Urban eats about 51% and rural eats about 65% of energy through, the carbohydrates, through the cereals. Whereas the contribution through the protein sources like pulses, legumes, and fish, it is only 11%. And when you look at the foods like chips, biscuits, chocolates, sweets, and juices, it is contributing to about 11% of energy in a day's diet. So, as we all know, unhealthy diets are completely linked to 4 of the world's top 10 leading risk factors, which leads to death. That is nothing but high blood pressure, high blood glucose, overweight, obesity, and high cholesterol. So, what is the reason behind that? Inadequate consumption of fruits and vegetables, which increases the risk of CVD and even some types of cancers and accounts to 2.9% of death in low and middle income countries. And also, high consumption of saturated fat and trans fat is linked to heart disease, the number one killer of the death globally. So average food energy intake has shifted enormously in the past decades. While in the middle 1960s, it was about 43% of population lived in countries with average intake of more than 2,200, whereas now it is almost doubled. That is, we eat lots of carbohydrates through cereal and also through simple sugars, which leads to the, cause of the death. So diets high in sugar, saturated and trans fat, low fiber foods, high sugar drinks, and a high intake of fast food and processed foods increases the risk of NCD in public. So coming to the hidden hunger, this is nothing but distress related to lack of food, anemia, iodine deficiency, vitamin A deficiency, all come under this micronutrient deficiencies. GDP loses about 9% due to iron deficiency and 3 to 4% due to iron deficiency. So, eating lots of vegetables and fruits will address this issue. We get lots of micronutrients like vitamins and minerals through lots of consumption of fruits and vegetables in day's diet. So, I would like to touch upon bit on NCD, the non-communicable diseases, which cause 63% of all death, according to a recent report by WHO. The leading causes are CVD. That is about 27% of population is getting CVD. Then 11%, chronic respiratory diseases, 9% cancer, 3% diabetes, and other conditions including obesity is about 13%. So when we look at India's obesity statistics, as per the National Family Health Survey, that is 2019 to 2021, overall 24% of Indian women and 23% of Indian men are overweight or obese. So between 1990 and 2022, when we compare the child obesity, it is from 2-fold to 8-fold increase in childhood obesity, which is quite alarming. So what are the key factors which drives the obesity burden in India? High calorie, low nutrient diets, easy access to processed food. I think this week, how many of you have just read, I don't know, this Zepto and Blinkit. These are the two platforms which delivers lots of food to India. In Maharashtra, this FDA, they have suspended their license because of non-compliance towards hygiene and sanitation in their what is that, godown or the warehouse, or they did not even follow any protocols. The food were lying on the floor, no proper calibration of refrigerator. So we have to be very, very cautious while we order food through this platforms. Then growing culture of eating out. It is kind of, it's a mandate for us to eat at least once or twice a week outside. Then sedentary lifestyle, this is again, like smoking is almost equivalent to, if we sit idle, that's again a new smoking. Okay. Then physical inactivity, then use of genetically modified crop. These are some of the key factors which, which raises the risk of developing obesity in India. So we should know what to eat and what not to eat. So here is the whole session about what to eat and what not to eat. There is about 4% disease burden in India due to unhealthy diets. What we have to look at here, the foods which are high in fat, salt, and sugar are more affordable than healthier options. We have more than 30 plus cafeterias in our campuses across. Whereas when we keep a healthy snacks like the whole grams or a cut fruit or a salad, we don't even have customers to pick up those healthy options. Still, GS office and FNB team are really working very hard to give certain, at least some options, rather than going for 100% unhealthy options, because people prefer unhealthy options, though we know so many things. Healthcare professionals are the one who is not really followed anything. We know everything, but we don't follow anything. This is the recent study done in Chennai as well, says the same story. So they work really very hard to keep healthy snacks, and we will get to know how many are opting for the healthy snacks and how many are not. We'll get to know. So it's so important that we need to go for whole foods rather than processed and ultra processed foods. That's why even Government of India have taken a lot of steps last 5 to 7 years, like recognizing the urgency of disease burden of country. Prime Minister Modi in his Man Ki Baat, the recent one, the March one. So he said, Aaj se thoda kam. So what to reduce? It is nothing but the salt, sugar, and the oil component. Even if we reduce 10% of our oil consumption, the fat consumption in a month, that will create lots of impact on health. I mean, good impact. So coming to, I just want to touch upon these three areas. That is nothing but the two white poison. That is nothing but our salt and sugar, and finally the fat. So Indians, in a recent newspaper, I think this is also this week, Hindu, it came. We Indians eat about 8 to 11 grams of salt daily, which is nearly double the WHO recommendation for salt. So high salt consumption contributes heavily to, hypertension and leads to about 1,75,000 deaths in India annually, which is huge number. Hypertension, which is a major cardiovascular disease, affects 220 million Indians. 2.6 million deaths globally are from CVD, out of which more than 50% are due to primarily hypertension. So reducing salt intake could play really a primary role, and it reduces the risk of hypertension and CVD in India. So this flow chart will clearly tell you when we take more of salt, it almost damages the whole body, right from your arteries, right from your hormonal pathway, right from inflammatory pathway, immune response, gut microbiome, then gastric mucosal damage. All these leads to cardiac damage, brain damage, kidney damage, other diseases, particularly H. pylori infection, and reduce the BMD, that is bone mineral density of the body, and also it increases the fat deposition in the body. So all these things leads to what is the clinical outcome? Then ischemic heart disease, hypertension, heart failure, stroke, dementia, CKD, stomach cancer, osteoporosis, which we usually don't relate with salt intake, osteoporosis, then renal stones and obesity. So how do we just reduce this? Very simple. Don't use table salt. Don't keep salt on the table while you start your meal. Just stop adding extra salt and add half salt, only half salt to the food while you cook. Chapati, no need to add salt while making the dough. Rice, no need to add salt while cooking the rice. Vegetables, just add lots of the fresh leaves like mint, then mushroom also. Mushroom, then all the coriander, curry leaves, all gives you a salty taste. So add those, herbs and spices into the food so that you don't require much of salt. And try not to use too many sauces which are high in salt. Recently, mayonnaise was banned by the government, Tamil Nadu government, and immediately we have just, sent a circular through GS office, and we have removed mayonnaise from all the cafeterias. So don't use soya sauce, gravy, granules, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, brown sauce, particularly the processed one, which we get it from the supermarkets. So if we stop buying that, then naturally we can just reduce the salt intake through the diet. And when we buy tinned foods at times, don't buy, tinned foods with brine. Brine is nothing but the salt solution. You can get the tin which has just the water and some preservatives in it. These are some of the ways we can reduce the salt intake in the diet. Then coming to sugar, sugar is not a necessary commodity. The recent dietary guidelines, which was released last July, the first recommendation what they have given for infancy is not to introduce sugar up to the age of 2. Not to introduce sugar up to the age of 2. So sugar is not a necessary commodity to use. It just gives the empty calories because it does not have any other nutrients like calcium or iron or phosphorus or sodium or whatever. It just gives only the energy. So empty calories will definitely put a lot of risk to us without micronutrients. So what happens here? Regular consumption of this soda, non 100% fruit drinks, sweetened tea, coffee will lead to sugar load, in particular fructose, sucrose, and glucose, which will increase the glycemic load, inflammation, and also adiposity. Naturally, it leads to insulin resistance, and also glucose intolerance finally leads to the development of type 2 diabetes. And we all know the adverse effects of type 2 diabetes. It leads to lots of pathies like neuropathy, nephropathy, and so on. So sugary beverages like soda, sweet teas, lemonade are linked to an increased risk of type 2 diabetes because the sugar load might increase the insulin resistance. So how do we get hydrated? Just use plain water. So my student always brings a big water bottle. I think you can show it to everyone. So she carries really lots of water. So that's the way we need to hydrate ourselves, and also avoid loading up with coffee, tea, with sugar. Even without sugar, too much of coffee is not good. The caffeine and tannin doesn't do good when we take too much. So, and this is an important slide I would like to show because when we started this, World Food Safety Day discussions, I think they were touching upon this processed and ultra processed food. So here, when you when we look at the nutritional quality, what do you mean by ultra processed food? So these are mostly made from substances extracted from foods such as fats, starches, added sugars, and hydrogenated fats. They may also contain additives. So I have given some examples here. The minimally processed food, when you take corn, canned corn will be a processed one, whereas corn chips is ultra processed one. So further we are processing and processing and processing. So apple to apple juice to apple pie becomes ultra processed food. Potato to French fry becomes ultra processed. Carrot to carrot cake will become ultra processed one. Wheat to cookies will become a ultra processed one. When you look at the nutrition quality, it is very high in sugar, high in fat, low in fiber, low in micronutrients. When you look at the additives, they add lots of sweetness. Chemicals, they add emulsifiers, bisphenol, all this acrylamide, acrolein, this pollutes the environment. And finally, what happens in the gut? It reduces the production of short chain fatty acids, increase the long chain fatty acids, and increase the gut permeability. Finally, gutty leak will be present and leads to lots of disease. So ultra processed food, it has to be avoided. I don't even say rarely, you can just try. So does a perfect eating plan exist? Actually, no. When we consume a balanced diet, which is inclusive of all the 5 food groups like cereal, pulse, fruits and vegetables, milk and meat, oil, a little bit of oil and a little bit of sugar and lots of nuts and oil seeds comprises of a balanced diet. Our traditional Indian diet with little modification is the ideal diet to have good health. When we go for a restaurant, when we have a thali meal, that is the right way of eating, whereas reduce the carb. So what is the way forward? It's so important that we need to create awareness among the community. Weight maintenance is the first sign of good nutrition. This is now passion or confusion, which I'll be exploring more to you people. So this is the My Plate model. So it's so important that we need to understand to follow this, plate model so that we can eat right. So it is a 9-inch or 8-inch plate. Divide the plate into 3. First half, then one half have to be divided into 2. So the half should be filled with fruits and vegetables. That too, 4 to 5 colors of fruits and vegetables, because when we use different colors of fruits and vegetables, the deep colored fruits and vegetables are very high in antioxidants. And antioxidants are the one which will scavenge the free radicals which are unstable in the body. So when a cell is unstable in the body, that is going to cause disease burden. So the antioxidants will scavenge all the free radicals, and then it helps to prevent diseases, in particular all the NCDs like diabetes, CVD, cancer, and so on. So 5 colors of fruits and vegetables, it is not very difficult. 1 onion, 1 tomato, 2 vegetables, and a fruit. Very simple, very easy. Then the other quarter, other half we have to divide it into quarter. 1 quarter for the protein, other quarter for the carbohydrates, that is cereal. So cereal, it is so important that we need to go for little bit of millets so that we get lots of fiber in the diet. The other quarter for protein can be your plant protein or vegetable protein. When it comes to plant protein, go for sprouts, boiled, or the soaked pulses, or you can have thick dal. Coming to the animal protein, go for the lean meats like fish or chicken. Don't go for red meats like beef or pork or mutton, has lots of cholesterol in it. We can go for either chicken or egg whites instead of yolk, because one yolk gives you about 250 to 300 mg of cholesterol, which is a day's requirement. And remember, cholesterol is already synthesized in the liver. On top of that, we are going to load up the liver, and when we load the liver is the one which will process all your toxins, all your nutrients, and so on. So we are burdening the liver and finally end up with fatty liver disease. And coming to water, 8 glasses of water. Oil, we can go for any oil. Even oils are processed too much to make it so, I won't say pure, to make it odorless, colorless, and so on. So go for your traditional oils. South Indian, I will say that coconut oil is good for health. Groundnut oil and ginger oil for Tamil Nadu. North India, mustard oil, soybean oil, rice bran. Whatever is our tradition, we need to go for, because our body is made to survive within the given environment. So Western culture, if we bring into India, then finally 56.4% burden, disease burden will happen. Then milk, at least 1 to 2 serving. In milk, if you don't like, you can add it in the chapati dough, or while mixing the batter, you can add some milk into it, or you can add curd into it. We get some probiotics, which is very good for the gut. And to preserve our muscle mass, and also the bone density, calcium is so important, and also protein is very important. So adding 1 or 2 servings of milk and milk product is very important. So this is the plate model, which will be very healthy when we go for half plate of fruits and vegetables. And there is a method to follow to eat. So coming to gut microbiome, this picture clearly says that when we eat a high fat diet, that reduces the gut microbes. We all know 100 trillion microbes are there, where we will have 50% of bad bacteria and 50% of good bacteria. So here, when we consume high fat diet, that 50% good bacteria will slowly come down in the gut and leads to development of long chain fatty acids, lipopolysaccharide, and cytokines. And we all know cytokines will lead to inflammation. Whereas when we take a high fiber diet, that increases the good bacteria in the gut, which leads to anti-inflammation activity. So how do we take? Go for probiotics and prebiotics. Probiotics are the one which are live microbes, which are present in the curd and fermented foods like palaya sadam, thair sadam, and so on. Then prebiotics are the one which promotes the development of good bacteria in the gut. That is nothing but our spices like onion, garlic, some vegetables. Most of the vegetables promotes the development of good bacteria in the body. So how do we eat? It is so important that we need to watch the way we eat. So the plate model, please remember the plate model. So first we need to reach the vegetable. When we go for a wedding, not the biryani wedding, the thali meal wedding, sambar, rasam, poriyal wedding. So by the time they keep the vegetables, we don't wait for the rice. We will finish 1 or 2 vegetables by the time they bring the rice. So we need to reach the vegetables first, then go to your protein, like either whatever, chicken or egg or whatever. Then finally you need to reach the carbohydrate, so that we can reduce the amount of carbohydrate what we just consume. Then eat snacks from a plate or a bowl, because research shows that when we eat out of the bag, for example, when you go in the evening, okay, very tired, you want to eat something, some packed foods you just pick up. When you open the packet, if you eat directly from the packet, you will not stop. You will make sure that you complete the packet and then you get that full satisfaction. Whereas when you transfer that snacks into a bowl or a plate, and if you consume, you can, get the same satisfaction. Then practice mindful eating. We have to be fully aware of the color, texture, taste. Most of the time we watch television or using a laptop or using a mobile, we just consume. It's so important that we need to fully aware, and we have to chew every bite at least 30 times. 32 times we have to chew each bite, so that the brain will send the signal that your stomach is full, just stop. Otherwise, we'll be keep eating. If we just gulp everything, we will be keep eating it. Then allow yourself to eat your favorite sweet or treat, but keep the calories under minimum. So please share. In case if you want to eat a cake or ice cream or whatever, share and eat it so that you don't get the full calories. So eat when you're hungry. I think those days, maybe 1990s, like nobody says, mom or grandma never says that you eat. Whereas now the new moms, they literally push. Early morning, they'll give a glass of milk to the child, then breakfast, make sure, then bus snacks. While going to the school, they will take some snacks, then mid-morning snacks, then lunch, then tea time, then after coming home, some snacks, then dinner. So too many meals for the children. So children will eat when they want. As far as they're active, we don't have to worry. But we have to make sure that at least 3 to 4 meals are eaten by the children. Eat just enough to satisfy your hunger. Stop eating before you feel full. And 32 times chewing is very, very important, each bite. So breakfast is so important. If you are on intermittent fasting, please consult a dietitian. Don't do it on your own. Breakfast is so important. This is a recent study where 4 lakh plus participants being involved, and it was indicated that regular breakfast habits, that is 7 times per week, could significantly reduce the risk of NCDs, in particular diabetes, obesity, hypertension, stroke, hypercholesterolemia, metabolic syndrome, and abdominal obesity. Skipping breakfast is positively associated with depression, stress, psychological distress in all age groups. So breakfast is so, so important. If you want to lose weight, please consult a dietitian. So how do we manage during shift? Because since it is for our own community, I just want to touch upon what to eat during the shift time. So when to eat? If you go for a night shift, please eat at 6 p.m. regardless of the shift. Early dinner is the key for better digestion. Even organs have to take rest. Now 12 a.m. biryani, 3 a.m. biryani, 4 a.m. biryani, all culture. I'm not sure whether it has come to Vellore, but Chennai, it is very, very famous. Where the organs are supposed to sleep, we are feeding them and we are making them to, work 24/7. What happens? Finally, it will get damaged. So what to eat? Pack your own healthy snacks. Do not rely on vending machines, cafeterias, and fast food restaurants. And usually they don't offer healthy snacks. Include more protein. Protein is the one which will keep us alert during the shift time. Then choose complex carbohydrates, in particular millets, whole grams, and non-starchy vegetables. Please avoid spicy, fatty, fried foods. It might lead to heartburn and indigestion. And also, if you're thirsty, choose water or low-fat milk or drinks which does not have sugar in it. So this is the traffic signal everybody knows. So the food labeling, I would like to touch upon food labeling. Color-coded nutritional information will tell us like what to eat. When we see a red mark there, it is not only for non-vegetarian. When you look at the food label, the daily recommended value, if it is, red color, then stop, go small. I would say don't eat at all. For example, when you look at this traffic light food signaling picture, the down one, each serving 150 gram contains. Fat is only 3 gram, which is kind of very low, which can be taken. Whereas when you look at the sugar, it is 34 grams in 150 gram. So it says that it is a red signal for us that we should not consume this kind of product. Whereas salt is 0.9 gram, amber one, kind of we can take it, but not too much. So when there is a red color in the food label, because this red color is for non-vegetarian also, green color for vegetarian, brown for the other ones. So don't get confused in the food label, in the nutrient value, that composition, if there is a red color, then we should not eat. If it is yellow color, you can go slow, but we need to watch weight, because when we continuously take that amber color food label foods, then it might lead to weight gain. Then if it is a green color, yes, go all the way, enjoy the food. Here, the two green color are there. The fat and the saturated fat is up to 7% of saturated fat can be taken in a daily diet. This is only 1.3 grams of saturated fat is present in 150 gram. That is one serving. So, which can be taken. So this is a beautiful slide which explains very well that when we eat a biryani, what happens. One biryani is about 700 calories, which is one plate biryani. But we don't stop with one plate. And when we eat biryani, we'll buy some tandoori and a piece of dessert will be there, either a payasam or a furni payasam, and some chips will be there and some gravy, either a chicken gravy or a beef gravy or a mutton gravy. So when we add all these things, it just goes beyond 2000 calories a day, which is the daily requirement. So one meal we are completing for the entire day. Then think about your breakfast, your dinner, and in between snacks, it just goes beyond 4000 calories per day. To burn 100 calories, we need to walk for half an hour to burn 100 calories. Whereas one shot, we consume about 2000 calories without thinking anything. Whereas when you look at the natural foods, we can eat even a kg of watermelon at a shot, which will give you only 100 to 150 calories. Papaya, 300 grams can be taken. Cucumber, close to a kg. Carrot, 200 gram. Tomatoes, 500 gram. But how to eat this? So I am on a weight reduction, because I have undergone surgery. I'm trying to shed some weight. So as soon as I reach home, earlier I used to eat whatever is available at home. Now I eat one cucumber, one big cucumber. So that will satisfy your hunger. After that, even if you want to eat something, you may not eat. So that is the way, some of the tips which we can follow to satisfy our hunger. So this is, I have taken from this new dietary guidelines, which is released by, ICMR NIN. Swap these with these. So foods with high calories, like, the donuts or cake or something with low calorie salads and sprouts. Deep fried foods with nuts and oil seeds. Sugary beverages to the natural beverages like tender coconut water, lime juice without sugar, or fresh juice without sugar. Then swap fresh fruit juices with whole fruits. Then the ultra processed food can be replaced with our traditional snacks like kadala mitai or, like ellu urunde, then pori urunde, something like that. Then the sauces to fresh made chutneys. So don't use this commercial jam, sauces, peanut butter. Please make at home and you can use it. So even as little as an increase of 500 steps per day reduce the risk of heart disease by 9%. Please make sure to walk at least 5,000 to 10,000 steps. At least aim for 5,000 steps a day. Even if I walk 4 to 5 times to A block to dietary, it is not more than 3,000 steps. It is 0.9 kilometer. Almost dietary and OG building is 0.9 kilometer when we walk across the bridge. So it doesn't serve the purpose. So beyond that, we need to spend some time to, physically active. So this is recently I found this slide. When you look at this double chicken burger, which gives about 800 calories and about 31 grams of fat. What is the requirement of fat? It is not more than 20 grams per day. Whereas one double chicken burger gives you about 30 grams of fat, which is 1.5 days of the requirement. When you look at this killer bite, the simple carbohydrate will lead to diabetes. The mayonnaise or the butter or the cheese, what they use, leads to fatty liver. The cutlet leads to heart failure. The sugary treat leads to the sugar bites leads to, pancreatitis, fatty liver, and also diabetes. When you look at this sinful slice, the salt which they use leads to hypertension and heart stroke. The chemical, the preservatives, what they use leads to kidney failure. So this picture you all should remember when you just go for and try to grab pizza or burger or whatever. So as Jesus have given us 10 commandments to live a disciplined life, these are some of the commandments I would like to tell you. Number 1, pick any one physical activity, either walking or swimming or, walking in a treadmill, whatever of your choice. Number 2, minimum 200 ml of milk or curd is very, very important to have adequate calcium. Number 3, have 3 healthy meals as per the plate model. Number 4, add 4 major food group. That is your cereal, millet, pulse, fruits and vegetables. Then 5 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables, 6 minutes of meditation or mindfulness, or just take small breaks in between your work and think about yourself, or go for a 5 minutes brisk walk. Then 7 hours of sleep, 8 glasses of water, 9 serving of cereal. That means, for example, I'll tell you, one portion of cereal is one idli, for example, or one chapati. So we should not consume more than 9. That is 3 chapati in the morning, 3 chapati in the afternoon, 3 chapati at night, along with fresh fruits and vegetables and a source of protein. Then finally, 10 minutes of sunlight exposure is very, very important. I'm sure, I bet you, if we take vitamin D test for every one of us, we will be deficit. So it's so important that we need to have adequate milk and curd in the diet to get some amount of vitamin D. So what are the benefits of following my plate model? Increased energy level. I'm sure we can perform well. Better mood and work performance. Improved gut health. Weight management and prevention of chronic diseases. So see, these are some of the benefits. Beyond that, we can be very, very alert and active at work when we consume a balanced meal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for reminding us that every plate is an opportunity to nourish both body and life. It was an insightful session where you had made nutrition not only easy to understand, but also meaningful in our daily lives and the value hidden in everyday food choices. The way you had explained on the balance, variety, and the importance of each food group was both informative and inspiring, and we are sure it will help us make healthier choices from now on. The floor is now open for the questions from both the in-person and from the online participants.
Yes. Yeah, one serving is actually 100 gram. So 400 to 500 grams of fruits and vegetables have to be taken in a daily diet. But most of the time, what happens, we just take only half a kg for the entire family. If you don't have time to cook, you can buy cucumbers and you can just eat just like that without even cooking, because it's a very challenge for us to cook all the time. No problem, no problem. Eating vegetable is the important point there. You can cook 3-4 vegetables at a shot, leave it in the refrigerator. One day using from refrigerator, it's fine. Whereas continuously, we should not do that. And make sure that you bring it to the room temperature and then you reheat and then you take it, not directly from the refrigerator. One day is fine, because we all are working women. We may not find time. And if I say don't use from the fridge, it is not wise. Thank you so much.